So if you look at the overall scale of plastics production, bioplastics are tiny. They're less than 1% of the total market, but their potential is enormous.
So when we started growing maize here on the farm in 1990, we were growing crops without film, and it was leading to late harvest, poor variable yields. And since we started using the film, we've seen an improvement in those areas.
By us understanding after 10 years that the film was the key part to it, we took the leap then ourselves here 7 years ago to produce in-house ourselves.
So bio-based plastics are plastics that are made from natural resources. So really the research and development in this area is trying to design them in such a way that they're more recyclable, to design them in a way that they're user-friendly, so that we can actually design packaging and other things that are going to replace fossil-based plastics. So the real question in research is, can we produce these? Can we produce these at a large scale? But can we produce them in a way that is sustainable?
We're farming here in Adair in County Limerick. We're doing about 300 acres. It's all beef and tillage. We're doing about 200 or 300 beef cattle a year, and then the surplus crops that are grown, be it corn, maize, barley, they're sold off-site if they're not used on the home farm. So all the maize that's grown here in Ireland is grown primarily for animal consumption, because traditionally maize and corn wouldn't be grown in Ireland. It's a kind of a tropical plant and it likes lots of heat.
It's very hard to grow maize consistently every year because the weather changes up and down. So we found that if we could lay a film over the soil, like a mini greenhouse, and make it degrade, we could germinate the seed quicker and then get a better crop at the back end of the year, because you're bringing the germination forward and therefore the crop harvest forward as well. And that's how the business started 28 years ago.
I think there's a couple of massive benefits when we use the film. The first benefit is the yield increase. So we're getting maybe 1.5 tons of dry matter more per acre, which is a huge increase in yield. The other areas where it helps is early harvesting. We're able to get off the fields earlier because we're bringing the maturity of the crop forward. And when we bring the maturity of the crop forward, it helps with harvest date.
Those products that are used in the compostable film are all made from maize grain starch, from vegetable oils and so on. So more circular economy and more renewable materials been used in the film we produce today than the film we used to produce in the past. We've developed it, we've modified the machinery here to make the film, develop it to make it thinner and cheaper and more user-friendly. Enterprise Ireland helped us with innovation grants over the last couple of years, but also support then from the resin suppliers. But really all done basically here in Adair in County Limerick.
The film we had back in 96 and 97 was made out of oil. It was an oxo degradation film, so there probably potentially was going to be a lead to microplastics in the soil, which obviously is not a positive thing. So the new generation of film, the compostable film made from polylactic acid, is definitely a huge move in the right direction.
We're one of only 5 companies in Europe that are registered to EN 17033 standards, and the new film is a fully compostable film. It's an oak-case soil biodegradable. It's one of the hardest standards to get for degradable polymer, and that's because we strove from the very start to have a standard and to work to that standard that we could be acceptable. So the film we're producing now is 100% allowable in Europe and will continue to be.
We must treat bioplastics as a valuable resource. But bioplastics can contribute to reducing greenhouse gas emissions. They can contribute to increased recycling rates. They can contribute to reducing plastic pollution. But they need to be managed carefully, and now is our opportunity.